role of Bangladesh as far as the Northeast is concerned. Can we have everybody on the screen? The role of Bangladesh as far as Northeast region is concerned. Now, India is adopting an extremely cautious approach. There are a lot of people who are saying that tough action has to be taken. A lot of people are saying that, Chittagong Hill Tracts, there has to be an unrest in Chittagong Hill Tract should be taken over, so on and so forth. So there is a lot of jingoistic feeling, which is natural. In this kind of a situation, it is not surprising. I think no one is surprised that there is anger in the northeastern region. But what should be India's approach? That is what a lot of people would like to know.
Well, Asbir, you were talking about a kind of statement Yunus has made in China, and it being mentioned as not being so important. In that context, I would like to say the kind of anti-India position Yunus has been taking, the multidimensional India bashing. After Yunus has joined, you see the kind of activities being undertaken in addition to building up the airfield at Lal Monerhat, and a group of Bangladeshi Air Force personnel having been sent to Pakistan to train in JF-17 fighter jets. These fighter jets were developed by Chinese and Pakistanis together. And they are training their pilots to be operating them, and they are training already in Pakistan. Today, the Foreign Secretary of Pakistan has had his confabulation with Jasimuddin, the advisor external affairs in Dhaka, and a couple of days later, the external affairs minister Ishaq Dar is going to come there, renewing a friendship of a very interesting kind after 15 years, and thereby, forgetting all the kind of history that has been inked. And this cannot be done without any kind of thought process of anti-Indian strict structuring.
That brings me to a very
Moscow. All right, but then as per entire lot of DZFI honchos, entire lot of Jamaat and anti-Indian forces that are now being very active out there.
Absolutely.
So India needs to be trading very carefully, and ISI is at it. You can be very sure about it. And they are going with a begging bowl now to Turkey for drones and stuff like that. Militarily, they are definitely tying up in strong.
My question is that brings me to two questions.
So we got to be careful, but at the same time, Wasbir, yes, what I am trying to say, perhaps BNP is no more the BNP of the yore, when they used to help the Indian insurgent groups to, take roots out there in Bangladesh shores and attack India. Gone are those days. BNP appears to be a little more mature, and they have their own differences with Jamaat. They have their own differences with even the student groups. Nahid Islam yesterday had an interview saying that BNP is being favored unnecessarily by the advisory government, etc. So they are at loggerheads.
Right.
And BNP wants election quick. And I guess let democracy prevail. If India pushes for a proper democratic process where the secular parties have their say, and perhaps India stands to gain. Jingoism, in terms of getting prepared for the worst, needs to remain all right. But then we need to, as a very responsible neighbor, a very senior big brother, we need to push their case as well in proper perspective.
Now, one more thing. Let me go to Dr. Srirada Datta. Dr. Srirada Datta, now you see Bangladesh. Now, Bangladesh is, the Russians are thinking of selling weapons to Bangladesh. Bangladesh has got 2 old submarines from the Chinese, but that has enabled the Chinese to at least park themselves in Bangladeshi territory. Now, as Bhaskar Chuti Mahanta said, they were trying to acquire drones. Do you think that the Bangladeshis are, shoring up its military? Do you think they'll be able to they'll be sandwiched by 2 big South Asian nations, the 2 big South Asian giants? Do you think, they have the wherewithal to sustain this kind of a military, armament building? So what's going on actually?
They're crying for attention. I think that's the way I see it. But more importantly, I still maintain that this government is there for a very limited period. we will have to examine our relationship with the elected government.
Yeah.
Now, let's face the
Yeah.
fact that India is not a popular entity there. The way we behaved in the last 15 years hasn't endeared us to the population. And I mean the youth especially. The youth, 40% of Bangladesh's population is between the age group of 16 to 35. Clearly, that's not a population that is in favor of India for a variety of reasons, and much of it is that India's, issue really. So at this point of time, I think we'll have to, remain calm. As they say, keep our the gunpowder dry. At the same time, I would actually think that India of 2001 is a different India today. I mean, we can't constantly keep thinking, oh, Northeast has to be looked after by somebody else. Northeast is ours, and we'll have to take care of it. We will have to get into a situation where it's quite possible the neighborhood is not in our favor, and we've seen that. So, constantly thinking
yes,
of how
Pradut,
others are going to, but at the same
right.
time, the way we behave with this unionist government, again, hasn't really made things any easy for any one of us.
Right.
I-
Let me,
there's no
sorry,
different-
so Radha, sorry to interrupt you. I'll come back to you. Pradut, you wanted to say something, but I have a question for you, Pradut, and same question goes to Mr. Subir Bhomik as well. During this Advantage Assam Summit, Pradut, the External Affairs Minister led a huge delegation of foreign diplomats. There were huge, the entire top brass of the India Inc. Landed in Guwahati. 5 lakh crores worth of MOUs were signed. Even if 20 to 30% of those MOUs get implemented on the ground, the Northeast, or for that matter Assam, is going to see a tremendous change. But my question is, is it possible for India to look at a new neighborhood outside of Myanmar and Bangladesh? Because most of the South Asian capitals are Southeast Asian countries are within 3 hours flying distance from Guwahati.
Wasveer, that's a very good question. But can I come back to what the lady, the distinguished lady who just spoke before me?
Dr. Srirala
It's true
Datta.
that, yes, ma'am, I have a lot of, she's spoken very eloquently, but let me say something. The youth of Bangladesh is definitely not with India. Are they also against America for having them, for them vandalizing American stores? The fact is that were the youths of Bangladesh with India, she said in the last 15 years, what was happening in the 90s? What was happening in the 80s? The fact is that the youth of Bangladesh have been radicalized. They've been radicalized. The youth of Bangladesh, do you think that the Pakistani army came in Kumilla, in Brahmanbari, in Noakhali and massacred the Hindu Bengalis? Did the Pakistani army come in 1974 and massacre the Chakmas? Or did the Pakistani army come and it was nothing to do with Bangladesh when they massacred the Tripuris, the Christians, the monks, the Buddhists, the Hindus? The fact is there has been an underground of radicalization. If they were angry with India, why would they go and bring down the statue of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman? Why have they gone and killed tons and tons of people from the Awami League? The fact is that this is a clear radicalization of the youth of Bangladesh, and that has happened, and their natural enemy will always be India because it is largely Hindu dominated. Let me be very honest, their natural enemy will be Israel. Now if you see what they are speaking against Israel because of what is happening in Gaza, their natural enemy will always be America. So the fact is that radicalization in Bangladesh is the reason why they are no longer in favor of India or in favor of Myanmar. You know what is happening with the Arakan army. So we have to really understand that the problem is not with India's attitude towards Bangladesh. It is that radicalization in Bangladesh has gone to such an extent where they are killing their own citizens on the basis of religion. They are targeting people on the lines of their affinity. And this will not change until we do not talk to them from a position of power. The people in Chittagong Hill Tracts, Bandarban, Khagrachari, Noakhali, Kumilla, they are all part of, Subir Bhomik will say it, they were all part of old Tripura. There are sentiments there in Chittagong Hill Tracts, in Cox's Bazar. The tricolour was flying there for 72 hours. Even there, the people there are actually more Indian than we actually think that they are. And engaging with Bangladesh at this present time, where the maximum of the youth are against us, will help us in no way. They need to be also told that please come online or we will take actions which will be equal to your hatred towards us. This is what has happened in Maldives. This is what's happening in Bangladesh. And this will continue in the name of big brother attitude. But there is
Right.
nothing which has happened from India's side in the last 5 years or 10 years. And insurgency which rose in the 90s and the 80s, was India unjust towards Bangladesh then? Absolutely not. And for them to invite Pakistan to set up bases in Bangladesh to attack India, who has been more unfair to the youth of Bangladesh, Pakistan or India? So it is nothing to do with India's attitude towards Bangladesh. It has got to do with the rising fundamentalism in that country itself.
Let me turn to Subir Bhomik. Mr. Subir Bhomik, Mr. Pradut Dev Burman is talking about the war. He's worried about the increased radicalization in Bangladesh. Now, my question to you is, can you come forward a bit, please? Can you come forward? We are missing you from the screen. Yes. 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 You can, if you can hear me, can you hear me first of all, Subir Bhomik?
Yes, I can hear you now.
My question is, Mr. Pradut Dev Burman is talking about radicalization in Bangladesh. My question to you is, a country where hooligans and mob can go and vandalize and bring down the statue of their own father of the nation, what can we expect?